This is part 4 of the Craftsman 6x48 Belt Disc Sander Rebuild Series. If you haven't seen part 3, click the link at the top of the screen. In this video, we will be soaking the parts in degreaser and simple green. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Because of the amount of grease that is on these end shields, I'm going to soak them separately in a more robust degreaser. So I'm going to put them in this plastic bin along with the shims or washers and that spring washer. And I think we got one more. And then I'm going to soak them with this degreaser from Sam's Club. This purple stuff is really good at removing the grease. I learned after I removed them from the degreaser that if you're not going to dilute this, you need to be careful about how long you soak this stuff. I ended up soaking this stuff for about 5 days, and that degreaser definitely started attacking the aluminum. For the rest of the parts, we're going to put them in this big bin. All of the parts except for the stator and any of the panels that have graphics on them. Those will not go in here. So you can put plastic in this, you can put the Zamic and aluminum, steel obviously, and iron. Now if you don't want to remove the paint off of whatever you're going to soak, then I recommend soaking for only an hour or two, maybe 3 or 4 at most. If you're soaking overnight, which is what I typically do, it will start to remove paint. And due to my schedule, all this stuff soaked for about a week, which we're going to be repainting all of this, so removing the paint was a good thing. So this is just simple green. I get these 2.5 gallon jugs from Home Depot. I think they're about 20 bucks a piece, and I like it because you can use it indoors. It doesn't have a really bad smell to it. It's biodegradable, so I don't have to worry about pouring it out down the drain or in my yard or whatever. And it's reusable, so I use this stuff about 10 to 15 times, and then I just replace it. So for soaking the column, we're just going to put it in this 4-inch PVC pipe that's got an end cap on the end of it. And then we'll fill that up with some simple green as well. Just strapping it down so it doesn't go anywhere. Alright, so like I said, the simple green I usually let soak for about 24 hours. In this case, all this stuff soaked for about 5 days. Then I reclaim the simple green using a paint strainer, a funnel, and a siphon. I've already got most of it out of that bin. But this is how I do it. So that you guys can see. And that siphon is just a Harbor Freight siphon, battery powered. I think they're like $7 or $8. And it runs on 2D batteries. It's like the only thing I have that uses that size battery anymore. And those of you old enough to remember, they were in everything back when I was a kid. So we removed these parts from the simple green, and now we're just going to rinse them off. This is all the small parts, nuts and bolts and whatnot. You can see that I've got those chrome plated knobs and stuff, and you saw me pull the piece of plastic out earlier for the governor's centrifugal switch, so it didn't hurt any of that stuff. I'm just going to go through all these parts here and rinse them off. We'll speed this footage up here in a second. So some of this stuff I'll hit with a wire brush as I'm rinsing it, just to remove any debris, grease, oil, whatever. That glue that was on the disc came right off of there, as well as most of that paint. So you can see how well that simple green does with assisting in stripping the paint. But that was repainted by somebody. It definitely wasn't the original OEM paint on it. And with this Craftsman gray that's on a lot of this stuff, it's a pretty robust paint. It's an industrial paint, so getting it off of there is going to require an additional step. Still a good bit of grease inside those pulleys. This is the table that had that god-awful orange paint on it, red-orange. You can see that the simple green really did a good job of breaking it down as well. I can get most of it off here. And I'm just rinsing this stuff with warm water. I'm not using it too hot or too cold. And we haven't gotten to the derusting stage yet, but it's best that you plan to do painting within 24 hours or so after you've derusted. That way you can cut down on the amount of surface rust that will reform on especially the cast iron parts. This is the base for the sander. And this is the sanding belt table. Hopefully in my next shop I'll have a sink that's a little bit taller, because me bending down is killing my back doing all this. And this is the pedestal base. And that gray paint that's on this stuff here wasn't even touched by the simple green. Some more small parts, little pulleys and whatnot. Alright, so to get the remainder of the paint off of all this stuff, or most of it, I like using this citrus strip. It's non-toxic, and again it can be used indoors, although it does have a pretty strong odor to it. Now when you apply this stuff, you want to apply it pretty thick, and you're going to need to cover all these parts with plastic after the fact and let them sit for about 24 hours. So I'll do the bottom of them first and then flip them over and do the top side. And there's probably tons of other products out there that work better than this stuff, but I don't want to do this stuff outdoors, and I don't want to have to worry about, losing brain cells or anything else. So aircraft grades, paint stripper is awesome, but pretty unsafe. Where you have to wear a ton of PPE to use it, and I hate wearing a mask. Talk to anybody that's had to do 48 to 72 hours in Mop 4, and they'll tell you straight up, wearing a mask sucks. So I'm a firm believer in this citrus strip. Like I said, it's an excellent product. In my opinion, it works really well. And removing it is equally as easy as applying it, although a little more messy. So now that we've got everything coated, we're just going to apply some plastic over the top of it. Now in the past I have wrapped each individual piece with saran wrap, but as I've worked with this stuff more, I've learned that I can just lay a piece of plastic like this over everything, tuck it in under that cardboard, and it does what it needs to do. All you're trying to do here is to prevent the paint stripper from drying up. It needs to stay damp while it's doing its job. And that is going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. In the next video, we will remove this paint stripper off of everything. Hopefully, I'm going to get a video out next week. There's a chance that I won't be able to. I've got some family stuff I got to take care of, but if not next week on Monday, then the following week definitely. As always, I appreciate the support, and I will see you next time.